What's up, world? It's your boy, the Beerded Brotha, here with Tailgate Brewery. We're just going to do a casual tasting today. We're going to learn everything that goes into a beer, all the way from the light to the dark. And of course, I'm not going to be here by myself teaching you guys these things. I'm with my friend.
What's up, guys? Ryan here from Tailgate Brewery. I'm the brand manager at Tailgate. I've been here a little bit over 5.5 years now. I'm in charge of all of our sales and marketing, but also ran this tap room for a couple of years. We're speaking to you guys today from our HQ tap room, which is in West Nashville, out on Charlotte Pike. So, like Kramer said, we're going to go ahead and get started and dive through a couple different beers. So, let's pour up the first one. It's going to be Tailgate Lager.
Ah, perfect. And what makes a beer a lager of any kind?
Man, that's a great question. So, when we're talking about entry-level drinkers and people kind of just getting started into it,
right,
I try to keep it simple at the basics. Simplest thing, there's only two types of beer. It's either ale or lager, and that depends on the yeast strain that we're using.
Okay.
So here we're using a lager yeast. Cheers.
Cheers, there you go.
So, lager yeast likes to work at colder temperatures, a little bit slower. The number one characteristic that you hear people use to describe lager yeast is clean. It's clean, it's crisp. It doesn't impart a lot of flavor, whereas ale yeast will give off things like more fruity esters, aromas, and then also on the palate itself. So lagers are just really clean, old school style of making beer. What we're doing here is a Kevlar Lager. So you see it's unfiltered, it's unpasteurized, it's got like a little bit of a haze to it. This is our award-winning recipe, actually.
Really?
So last year we won Best Kevlar Lager in the United States with this in the World Beer Awards, which means that this beer then got to go on and represent America in the World Beer Challenge.
How did you guys finish in that?
So we lost to Sweden. Excuse me, Switzerland. One of the two. It was a country that you wouldn't expect to win, or at least I didn't expect to win. You know, you would think that if it's traditional German-style Keller beer, it'd be Germany or
somewhere in that Bavarian region.
Yeah. So I cannot tell you the name of the brewery. I apologize. Kudos to them. I bet they're just freaking excellent. But
it's got to be. If you win best in the world, you got to be doing something kind of right. You know what I mean?
But you'll notice what you're tasting here. It's like we're using 100% Pilsner malt. So almost everything in this glass is imported straight from Germany.
Oh, wow. Okay. And it's very bready, too.
Yeah. So that's like the number one malt flavor is like maybe like a little bit of like cracker or biscuit kind of.
Yeah.
And then it's that yeast is giving you that crispness to it. It's like clean. It's also a pretty hop forward beer for being this light. Not quite bitter enough to be classified as a Pilsner. But maybe just like a step below that if we're measuring bitterness. So it's traditionally Saphir hops. Really just get like some earthiness from that hop characteristic. But to me, it's like, in a quick summary, it's subtle sweetness from the malt, a little bit of biscuit breadiness, zap of hops immediately off the palate. So it kind of like beckons you in for another drink. Yeah,
because for me, when you finish it, like the hops immediately go away. You get that like Christmas, lagery, pilsnery, like finish to it.
So it's cool in the sense that traditional beer drinkers, or like maybe say craft beer nerds, like really appreciate this. All right, cool. This is a traditional German style lager that's fermented for 5 weeks here at Tailgate.
Okay.
You know, that's cool for like the beer nerds, let's say, to get excited about. You can also give this to your friend who drinks a Bud Light, and they're not going to be offended by it. They're like, all right, man, I can get down with that. Like, it's not overbearing. It's not too bitter. It's not too bold. Like, sweet.
It's Bud Light if it actually put some effort into it, but that's a whole different conversation. I said that, he didn't say that. just for clarification, people.
Yeah, never.
That's my opinion.
So you're around and keep giving me qualifying phrases so I don't get myself in trouble.
Right. You saw he ducked out the camera. He's like, "Oh, you're talking shit. I gotta go. I gotta go."
So this next one, we're going from like generally like lighter inner flavor profiles to more intense and more heavy as we go along.
Right.
This next one is orange. It's orange wheat. And it's really been the story of 2020 for us, if there is one outside of COVID.
Right.
Peanut butter milk stout's always been our best-selling beer until this one came out, which is a big surprise to us. So, again, we're using an ale yeast. So if we want to talk like flavor profile and actually dive into the characteristics, cheers again.
Cheers, man.
So you see it's got like a good bit of cloudiness to it, which is
Right.
meat. We're looking at protein structure. We're looking at stuff stuck in suspension. But then like a little bit of an orangish hint to it. And then
Yeah, you definitely get the smell of like almost like
zest.
and almost creamsicle like.
Yeah,
Just in the smell.
It smells like it's going to be a sweet drink.
But it's not. It's like
No, so like
pleasantly refreshing.
I might be like a little bit more cynical, I guess, about some beer styles, but like to me, like wheat beers are just intrinsically pretty fucking boring. They're really dry, like often like bland, and like it's mostly cereal is the main flavor that you're getting from some of that stuff.
Right. And what do you mean by like cereal?
So
Is it actually like cornflakes in the brewing process, or is it just?
it's a great question. In some of them, yeah, but more so we're using like flaked wheat for this.
Okay.
We find it a lot in like hazy IPAs nowadays because of the protein structure. It's going to help give some of that haze.
Right.
And it imparts like this really nice, soft, kind of round mouthfeel. But if you don't have a fruit paired with it, this is why like Blue Moon is always paired with an orange slice, or you see like traditional Hefeweizens made with like a lemon wedge on the glass. Like if you don't have that fruit component to a wheat beer, it can be like dry and not to say not refreshing, but to my palate a little bit uninteresting.
Okay.
So we're like, all right, cool. We want to make something that has fruit. We got really good at making fruited beers. So this is all natural, all organic. You know, it's available at Whole Foods. It's a good example for that. They got a pretty high metric for things like that. So we're using like a distillate. So effectively, we have a company who's juicing oranges, boiling out the water, doing that process a few times over until you get like a really, really pure version of orange.
Oh, wow. It's like a puree of a puree almost.
Yeah, like
Okay.
heavily macerated and boiled out. So what you're getting is real orange flavor, and that's why you get like zest on the nose, but then that sweetness from the orange and maybe like a little bit of acidity that comes through from just being a citrus. It's balanced out by the wheat. It's like a really, really pleasant drinking experience.
It is. It's definitely like a good alternative, like almost like a mimosa almost.
Yeah.
For beer drinkers. If you're like not really into the sweet, like sugariness, this is like a very good alternative. Or even mix it in with orange juice and get a little super orangey mimosa that way.
We've got a couple places around town that are throwing like a shot of vanilla vodka into this, like a creamsicle thing. It's just dope.
That's fire.
And then if you want to do like a shot of tequila, like some grapefruit tequila, make like a
that'd be perfect.
Fucking rules. But
I gotta remember that for next time.
Yeah, dude.
I never even thought about putting vodka in there.
Yeah, man. Like,
that's a game changer.
We've got a lot of people that are just like, you know, Blue Moon drinkers, and they try this, like, wow, it's label. It's like that soft, creamy mouthfeel that really, really makes.
I enjoy that. And that's another good one for like newer beer drinkers for sure. Now you don't have to really jump into a like hoppy situation or even like a super stouty situation because you think you like something because it has chocolate and vanilla in it.
Sure.
And it's like, okay, I know I'm gonna like that, but you drink it and it has Cascade hops into it. You're gonna just taste Cascade hop, maybe a hint of vanilla in there.
Yeah.
And anything else you thought you liked.
Well, and so like that kind of helps dictate what we take to market. So beers that are going to be available at bars and restaurants, and stores around town. It's like you want to capture that, you know, that not necessarily entry level drinker, but somebody who's going to be able to drink more than one or two of them. And like, you know, we do all the experimental styles, and we're going to drink a couple of them here in a second.
Yes.
And those are like, can absolutely last, but the reality is if you're coming in to eat with your family or you're on a date or whatever, like you're not drinking 6 of a 10% barley wine.
No.
You know? So like the ones that we do out to market are going to be a little bit of those more approachable styles, like this one. So,
yeah, I was going to say what we got here because it's delightful. It's delightful.
So this is peanut butter milk stout, which has always been our flagship. Most people who've had us know us for this beer.
Yes, this is probably the first one I had like a few years back.
Yeah.
I forget who brought it to me, but it was like at a party. It was like, hey man, just try this. And
somebody brought it to thank you.
It's one of those things that when you're going to
It's really, really nice. So I can't even list all the accolades it's received. It's 5 years straight for best experimental stout in the world.
Really?
Yeah, like it's like an experimental stout slash category.
Okay, I never even really thought of this as like experimental, really. Honestly.
Yeah, so anything, it's like anything that's got an adjunct category to it. Belgian or Brussels Beer Challenge won gold medal. It's got like I said, I can't even name all the accolades it has, but you can see why. So
Yeah, it has a beautiful color to it as well.
yeah, it's chocolate, like a little bit of brown coming up on the edge, like if you're actually looking at the where the head forms.
Yeah.
But just absolutely delicious. So you smell it up to the nose, and it's sure as shit peanut butter, but you get a little bit of sweetness. So it's a milk stout, so we're using lactose, which is milk sugar in this product. So it's not vegan friendly if you have something looking for that. This is not the product for you, unfortunately. But what that lactose does, it helps combat some of the roastiness that we use in like black malt, which gives off like those coffee characteristics. That lactose helps balance it a little bit. So you get to enjoy the roast, but it's not like bitter on the palate, or acerbic like it can kind of be.
It's not as heavy. You get the hoppiness with it, but it's not like overpowering at all. It's just like a nice little kiss of hops in there.
Yeah, and then so the other nice thing is only 5.5% ABV for a stout. Like our number one critique, like completely candid, is that people say it's a little thin for a stout, but that's the nice thing about it.
Yes.
It does have the body of a brown ale. Like it's pretty medium to lighter body.
Yeah.
Which is cool because you can enjoy it in the summertime, or you can drink 5 of this pizza and be alright.
Right, and you're not. Yeah, and you don't get warm sometimes. Sometimes when you drink like a really heavy stout or porter, it's like drinking like a shot of like whiskey or something. You get you warm up pretty quickly.
Well, I can hook you up real quick. A pretty decent segue into this Imperial Stout. So, again, it's a lactose. It's a milk stout.
Okay.
So, this can. So whereas peanut butter is like 5.5%, this one's 10%. So I think double the grain.
Okay. And what makes a stout imperial versus just?
It's the alcohol content. That's
Okay.
That's a function of grain. So the easiest way to think about it is think if you're making oatmeal and you're using the same amount of water, but you're doubling the amount of oats you add into it. You get like a really thicker experience. And as we're talking about sugar, the sugar from that grain is going to kick out.
Yeah, sorry, I don't even mean to be rude.
No, not rude at all. It's going to boost the ABV. And so this one is just a like full-bodied, heavy, over-the-top Imperial Stout. Big body, thick, chewy. And then we added chocolate, coconut, Madagascar vanilla, marshmallow, and coffee.
This is one of the few times I can actually like smell the marshmallow, because a lot of times in these kind of imperial stouts, it'll be yeah, you don't really smell it. You might taste it a little bit, but like in this one, like I get it in right in the nose.
The other thing is something like that marshmallow, there's like a general overall sweetness, and it's like hard to parse out what you're actually tasting. But this one, especially if you let it warm up in your hands and your glass a little bit,
it really opens it up, and that's like pretty a traditional thing you want to do with pours and stouts. You want to get them around like 45, 55 degrees, like right above room temperature, so or right below it. Excuse me.
Yeah, so like kind of depends on what you're drinking for, what you want to do to experience your beer. But yeah, I mean, some people prefer it cold, some people prefer it warm. And this one, you're gonna get like this beer does not taste boozy. How we're drinking it right now, just fresh off the tap at all.
Not at all.
Some of that alcohol content will present itself as the beer warms up. But yeah, right now, I mean, you can hardly tell that this is a 10.1% beer, which is the legal limit in the state of
Tennessee. Yes.
So, and I have a bunch of notes about that, but this is one of our one-off special Schnack series, which kind of like heavily adjunct beers. Have a ton of fruit or like fun flavors like that thrown into it.
Right.
And they're all intended to be like a little bit on top.
Of course, yeah.
And they're fun. They're a ton of fun. So this is our first stab at like a pastry stout.
Gotcha. So, and so it's really desserty. Would you drink this like with a pizza here, or is this something you want to do like separate?
Dude, honestly, there's only so many of them that you can drink in one sitting for sure.
Right.
Yeah, you could have it with some pizza. I think it's like a little bit heavy for most offerings.
Gotcha.
So I would take that to just drink by yourself at home, or if you're into like smoking yourself.
Ooh, okay.
But cheers, man. You want to go outside and drink some painkillers?
Hell yeah. So I got a lot of pain to kill here.